Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. It's Monday night. It's the 20th of March. And a big apologies for, let's just get over there a minute. A big apologies for the delay. I just didn't expect, when you least expect it, all of a sudden you have internet problems when you least expect it. It's quite an old system I've got. I've had it for about 6 years now. And it's been okay. But it's, just when you least expect it, it develops problems. Hopefully this is okay. Can anyone tell me how was the sound? How was the vision? How was the sound and vision right now? Okay, I'll just go through this here. Nicholas, thank you for that super chat. That super sticker. I do appreciate that. Nicholas appeared in my first ever live stream that I was doing yesterday on the Steady Eddie music box. Now, in case you're wondering what that's all about, a few people thought, what the hell is this? Steady Eddie music box is a channel where I add non-copyrighted music and some classical music to some of the travel videos that I've shot. It's early days yet, but I mean, at least I've got it up to the level where I can actually do a live stream on there. Not talking, just showing the videos. And you got to start somewhere. Remember, this channel started somewhere, and now not this channel, the other one, the main channel, started somewhere, and now that's up to 14 million views. So you got to start somewhere. Anyway, thank you for that, Nicholas. Nicholas, your super sticker. Thanks for that, mate. Cheers. Capo 17, good evening. Yoz Travels, good evening. Matthew Cartwright, David Mahoney, Steady Eddie Live. Oh yeah, that's me. AJ. All right, Ed. Hope you're well, mate. Now this, do you know what this? Thanks for that, AJ, because I think that's probably a good question. That's something that we need to talk about. AJ, all right, Ed. Hope you're well, mate. France are all out on strike because pension age has gone from 62 to 64. UK, they want you to work till you drop. Okay, right. I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't really consider it for the stream, but we're going to talk about that because I think that's worth talking about. Cheers, mate. In a few minutes, Nicholas, I'll just open a Guinness. Cheers. Well, I've done really well. I mean, it's basically 2 weeks since I arrived back in this country. When I arrived back, I had 9 bottles of Coors Light. Not the best beer, but 9 bottles of Coors Light. When I arrived back within the first hour, I drank 3 of them. And since then, I had one when a friend come around, and also I had a couple last night. So right now, there is 3, 4, 5, 6, So right now I've still got 3 bottles of light, and when in the fridge, and when they disappear, there is no more beer being brought into this house. And beer and wine. I'm going to the supermarket, and I've been really good. I've been okay. I've been going to the supermarket, and when I pass the beer and the wine, I don't even give it a second glance. But I do like a bit of this Gordon's gin. I do like this. I know it may seem a bit crazy, but my alcohol consumption is well gone down, and also the amount of money that I'm spending on my shopping. Paul Hoskin, nice to hear from you. Jamie 296, hello. Let's see, what's it? Alan Hunter. Alan Hunter, good evening, Eddie. Thank you for leaving a heart in your reply to me regarding fraternising with the vloggers. Fraternising with the vloggers. I add a heart to everyone. You know, I do. You know, even sometimes when people insult me, I give it a heart. You've got to understand, I don't always have time to engage with questions or anything like that in the comments. Don't forget, there's some people who do YouTube videos who just ignore the comments, and some of them disable the comments completely. If you've seen a few of them do that, I try and be a little bit respectful, you know what I mean? But you know, there's certain questions that I can never ever answer in the comment section, and one of them is, you know, could you recommend a good hotel in Romania, or could you recommend a good hotel in you know, in Siam Reap or what? I just haven't got the time for all of that. I really haven't got the time to be doing that. It's too time consuming, that is. And besides, I've already done videos of the hotels that I stayed in. Anyway, Barry from EastEnders, nice to hear from you, mate. Nice to hear from you. Seamus Doherty, nice to hear from you, Seamus, in Ireland. Hope you had a good St. Patrick's Day, mate. Bintman, evening, Eddie. Hope you're well tonight. How was your beer ban going? It's doing all right, mate. I've still got 3 bottles. Because I had, you know, I had a drink with a friend last night, you know, and seeing him drinking beer, and you know, suddenly those bottles have got to go sooner or later. The reason I've been keeping those few bottles in the fridge is in case of an emergency. You know, all of a sudden late at night I start climbing walls, and you know, and cold turkey and all that kind of stuff. But no, there's still 3 bottles. When they go, that's it. That's the end. No more beer being brought into the home. I'm not saying that when I'm next traveling that I'm not going to be drinking beer, because cold beer and hot climate goes really well together. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. David Coleman. Hi, Eddie. Hi from Toronto. Good to see you, mate. All is well. David has given us, you know, a little bit of inspiration for something we want to talk about tonight, and it's a good little topic. So nice to hear from you, David. David Martin, nice to hear from you. The Real Dutch Farang, Gregory Baldovic. Hi, Eddie. We enjoy you most. Okay, cheers, mate. Super nice. Let's see, Bushwhacker. Bushwhackers, hi, texting from Third Row Battalion. What's going on there, Third Row? I kind of lost touch with that place. There's enough going on Cyber Cow and all the other, but have a nice time anyway, mate. Have a good time. Sean Harris, evening, Ed, how was your weekend? It was, what was it? You know, a couple of movies, relaxed, you know, bit of cleaning around the house, you know, that sort of stuff. Nothing really special. Catching up on videos. Because when I was traveling, I wasn't really watching videos or Netflix or anything like that, simply because I had things to do, like editing my own videos. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time. So I'll tell you one thing that you know, but I will tell you one thing after I took a swig of gin. It's bloody nice stuff there. One thing in the last couple of weeks since I've returned home, I've knocked the beer on the head. I've knocked the wine on the head. I'm just drinking a few late night gins and rums and you know, whatever. But one thing in the last couple of weeks, I have really enjoyed my food. My appetite hasn't gone. Now, I'm not saying that when I was traveling in Thailand and those other places that the food wasn't good. I had some lovely meals. But there's something about what I cook at home just tastes much better. You know, even lasagna on toast. Yeah, steak dinners, nice chicken dinner I had last night. I'm really, really enjoying my food. You know, my appetite certainly hasn't gone. Anyway, London, just doesn't mention that. London Cab Thailand, nice to hear from you, mate. You Mongus, nice to hear from you. Stephen Tutty, Stephen Tutty, even though, well done to Ireland on winning the Grand Slam. I didn't follow that, but well done to them anyway. Ed Sweeney's 20 Stone White back in England. There's a new hotel full of boat people opening up next year. Well, then go and grab yourself a bloody fella, will you? You know, there's probably loads of them there. You know, go and get yourself a fella. You know, don't bother me anymore. Jamie 296 sounds and picture great. That's good to hear because I spent a very, very frustrating half hour before this stream started. All of a sudden, you know, like I just said a moment ago, when you least expect it, the internet starts playing up. Nicholas, David Martin, perfect even. Cheers, guys. Thanks for that. Okay, Billy Bob, sound and vision all okay. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Maybe it was just a blip, but maybe it was just a blip. Hard Tulip. Hard Tulip clicks in there like skill. Well, welcome, the most welcome. I've got something to mention about bloody Facebook in a minute. McLaren F1, nice to hear from you, Clive. You know, I haven't heard from you for a while. Mr. Steady, almost 2 weeks in hospital now after an altercation with Filipino flies. Oh, that's terrible. I had a really bad leg and blood infection and gave me cellulitis. On the men now. Oh, that's good. Oh, where did this? Was this on an island or somewhere like that? Was it by any chance? Those mozzies out there. I mean, I use a good repellent, rub it over my calves and ankles. But fortunately, I did a lot of scratching, but I didn't have anything like that. But I hope I'm glad to hear that you're on the mend, Denny. Anyway, mate. Hope all's well. Good to hear from you. And of course, I hope you had a good time. Ian Bowden, evening, Ed and everyone. Do you mind if I chucking a few random questions tonight? Okay, yeah, fine. You know, fine. Yeah, throwing a few random questions. You know, it's good to have audience input. I'm going to tell you something in a minute. Nice to hear from you. I'll mention something in a minute. Farang Travels, nice to hear from you. Nicholas, most welcome, Eddie. Yeah, thanks, mate. You too, mate. Whatever. David Coleman, Eddie, I'm looking at a new GoPro. I will need one next year in Thailand. Well, I've only ever had one GoPro, and they are bloody good. The stability, the inbuilt stability. Mine was a 7, a Hero 807. Now, I did use it a lot, but they do have their problems. I think one of the problems is that they tend to pack in, seize up when you least expect it. They also, and this is, relevant in somewhere like Thailand, if you're videoing with it, they have a tendency to overheat. And also, they're not very good at nighttime. Great at the daytime. They're not very good at nighttime. The night vision is quite poor. But just check it out and get, if you got any information there, let's hear from you. Gemini Star, nice to hear from you. Let's see. Ting said, I don't know what that comment, all right, but have a nice evening. David Coleman, I had to wait till 65 to get my pension in Canada. Okay. We'll talk about that. I think it was AG, wasn't it, who mentioned that. I mean, I completely slip, but that's something that's worth talking about. What's happening in France right now. The real Dutch Farang. Okay. So anyway, Stuart Ridout, Nate. Eddie, did you smoke weed in Thailand? It's not something that I do. I did a little video with Nick Dean. And it is on the Steady Eddie Music Box channel. I did a little video. I mean, Nick's an expert on that sort of thing. And I've never gotten it. I'm not going to start doing that at my age. All of a sudden, if you start making that legal, I'm not going to start doing that at my age because I've never done it before. And it's just not my bag. It may be all right, but no, I never really did it. Oh, David Coleman's getting saucy. We call gin panty remover for women in Canada. Well, they'll love it, really. I don't like that word panties. It's the Americans and Canadians do use that word, for women's underwear, panties. I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, knickers. Knickers is such a sexy word. Knickers is it? I mean, we in Britain we say knickers. Oh, she loves getting her knickers down. Absolutely, knickers is a sexy word. You want to think about that. Panties, nah, not the same. Nah. Okay, let's see. You mongers, get to work, you lazy French bastard. I bring in the 4-day week work study, do show and project or whatever. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Ian Bowden just watched the BBC documentary about the Brinks Mat robbery in the 80s. Very interesting stuff. No, yeah, I think I've actually seen that documentary. I think I've seen. I don't think that chappie there that you mentioned was actually involved in. I think he came into it later, didn't he? I think the people who actually carried out that robbery never actually met him. They didn't actually know him until later on. But yeah, I think I've seen that. I think I've seen that stuff. Interesting stuff. Very interesting. Brian Street, in the words of Dixon and Doc Green, evening all. Okay, nice to hear from you, Brian. Roy Gold, Rwanda is called the Switzerland of Africa. It's a country that's doing well and beautiful. Ironic that we're sending boat people there. It's better than the UK. Well, they don't seem to think so. They don't seem to think so. They think they're going to get mistreated when they go there. Is Rwanda a soft touch? Is there loads of benefits and free housing and handouts and the opportunity to commit loads of crime like a lot of these bloody immigrants do in this country? I don't think Rwanda's not. I don't think it might be a beautiful country and they might well have gorillas in there, gorillas in the mist and all that kind of stuff. But no, I don't think they want to go to Rwanda somehow. Nice to hear from you, Roy. Delayed Dave. Hi, Eddie. Any countries on your radar for a future visit? Well, I'll tell you one there. Let me just have a drink. That Gordon's gin's bloody nice. Any countries on the radar? Well, it depends what happened in the summertime. I did like Romania last year. I really, really did. And I wouldn't mind another visit there. But there's more of those. I love those little historical towns in Transylvania and places like that. But also, apparently there's some other good countries in that region, places like Montenegro and Hungary and various other places. So, it's quite possible. I haven't booked anything yet, but it's quite possible. Nice to hear from you, Dave. US Marine, when's your next trip, matey? To be honest with you, right now at this moment in time, I've done a lot of travel since the beginning of last year, which is about 14 months ago. Since the beginning of last year, I've actually traveled for 9 months. I know that's a lot. That's quite a lot. I mean, I've actually traveled for 9 months out of the last 14. So I think I've done enough traveling for the moment. I mean, it's nice really to just wake up in the morning time and not have to go anywhere. I don't have to go anywhere, I only switch the kettle on and switch the TV on and whatever. So I haven't actually planned anything just yet. US Marini's off to Malta. Good for you, mate. Good for you. I've never been there. That's really nice. Let's see. Ted Beanie in Mombasa at the moment with a dusky maiden asleep next to me. Bloody good stuff. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. Seamus Doherty. I watched a great Indonesian action movie on Netflix, The Raid. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Now, listen, what I want to do is I just want to mention something first of all. Get this off my chest. Now, I want to do a phone-in on this show, okay? A phone-in. Now, I know there's a system to do it, but I haven't really explored it yet. But I thought, why do a phone-in? I mean, I pay for this StreamYards thing here. I thought, not a bad way of doing it is try my luck with Facebook. I have mentioned it before, but I put a post on Facebook last night. Bearing in mind, I'm now up to 250 so-called friends. I just went through I just, pressed loads of, friends requests, and I got gorgeous women from exotic countries who were after me money and all kinds of bloody things. So I put a post on. I uploaded one of these live streams, or shared one of these live streams on Facebook. And I put a post saying, if anybody wants to come on, I've just 250 friends on Facebook. Then private message me, and come on here. For all you need is a smartphone or whatever. You don't even need to show your face. I mean, come on here for the next for 10 minutes at a time and say what you've got to say, bearing in mind that this is not a travel channel. We talk about other things. So I put that post out, and I think I got about, I think I got somewhere between 1 to 3 people who actually said, yeah, I'll come on. I mean, all these other 247 friends, where the hell are they? I mean, all of them said, yeah, nice post. Yeah, well, you missed a. I actually said to you, do you actually want to come on the, the show, whatever. So, but that's Facebook for you, isn't it? That's Facebook for you. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fakery. Since it's joined Facebook, there's a handful of people who regularly get in touch with me, and the rest just post I like that post. Yeah, I'll give them a thumbs up for that one. Well, that's Facebook anyway. That's Facebook. So I think I would like to get people on here, but I think maybe forget that bit. I think I'll get a system where people can phone in. It'll take a while to develop this, but if anyone's got any suggestions about what system I could use to get people to phone in, but maybe just give my mobile phone number out and put it on bloody loudspeaker or whatever. Shall I do that? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't get a good reception either on my mobile phone where I am, so that system might not work very good. If anyone's got any suggestions about that, because it would be nice to do an evening phone in. I think it'd be quite good fun there. Tinks, 40, 60 I turned 60 last week, and I just heard I'm entitled to a free bus pass and train pass. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Well, I'm 60 now, so maybe I'm entitled to that as well. I haven't actually investigated any of that because I haven't investigated that yet. But I have. I do get free prescriptions now because I take statins and other things. And a couple of other things, and I don't have to pay for my prescriptions anymore. And that was wonderful. That when they looked and said, you don't have to pay for that. Oh, yeah, pay. Life ain't all bad after all, is it? So well done, mate. Eason, man, nice to hear from you, Eason, man. Thailand dissolved parliament for the May election, so the 45-day visa exemption won't be getting extended past the end of the month. Absolutely. Well, he did say all along it was only going to last until the end of March. I mean, I don't know what visas are all about, really. I really don't know what. I mean, it's just a bloody way of making money, isn't it? I mean, why is that? Some countries are very strict with visas, and others don't bother at all. I travelled through South America some years ago, and they are so relaxed when it comes. They don't have any visas there in the South American continent. Not that I come across anyway. You turn up at the border, you're crossing from, Brazil into Argentina. They'll give you a month or maybe 2 months. I crossed from Bolivia into Peru, and they give me 90 days on the border, no problem. I mean, why is that those countries don't worry about borders? When I crossed between Brazil and Colombia, there was really no border there. I mean, I actually literally dragged my suitcase across the bloody border without anyone there. Not a problem. Why is it that some countries are really strict about visas and make it difficult for you to get them and then charge you lots of money, whereas other countries don't seem to bother at all? Just thought so anyway. Okay, let's see. Ian Bowden, looks like Koh Samui behind you. That is actually, to be honest, Koh Tao. I took that photo last year. That was Koh Tao, which is a beautiful. Well, you can see beautiful island, lovely place. Humongous lasagna on toast. Apologies to anyone. I have lasagna, the frozen lasagna. What I do is I soften it up in the microwave and then bung it in the oven to make it nice and crispy. But lasagna with Warburton's bread, toast. I have never ever had a lasagna with Warburton's toast that hasn't left me feeling in a fantastic mood. Lovely, so cheap, so wonderful. Simple things are best. Absolutely lovely. One of my all-time favorites. David Coleman. The Filipino people are nice and friendly, but the places are dumb from what I understand. It depends where you go. If you've never been there, you'll never really know. I mean, I went to Cebu once, and I thought that was a dump. Manila grows on you. You know, there's probably a lot of nice places. And of course, there's some beautiful islands in the Philippines, but Boracay and some other places. Let's see now. There you go. Okay. Okay, Barry from East End is Cuba tonight. Would you rather go with Thailand's oldest lady or Thailand's hottest lady boy? I think the first one, mate. The first one. Okay, there you go. Smashed. Evening, Ed. Enjoyed your Kolan vids. We'll certainly give it a visit next time I'm in Pattaya. Okay, thanks for that, mate. Nice to hear from you. For mash, get smashed. That was the old 70s commercial. Nice to hear from you, mate. Okay, let's see. Paul Hoskins being smutty again. Always cut your nails before fish finger. We're going to go to AG's question in a minute. AG mentioned something. Frank Travels. Got my flights booked next month from Manchester with Emirates. 800 quid. Good for you, mate. With well, that's good. That's good. That's terrific. Well done, mate. Well done, mate. Let me see now. Okay. Where am I? Ian Bowden. A question to the American chat. Do you think Putin would have gone into Ukraine if Trump was there? We can't talk about that. That's not really, it's not really YouTube friendly, that one. It's not really YouTube. I know some other people may appear to talk about it, but I don't think we can really do that. Sherman Harris. Ed, who do you think made the best pairing of Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday? Bert Langston and Kirk Douglas, James Garner and Jason Robards and Kate Russ. Well, the movie out of those, the ones that I have seen many times, I may have seen the other couple of movies, but it was the original John Sturges movie of Gunfight at the OK Corral. Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas are very, very hard to beat. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But I'll mention something else to you in a moment. Yeah, absolutely. Well, John Sturges also went on to make The Magnificent Seven and The Great Escape. So he was a really celebrated filmmaker. That was a classic movie. Yeah, definitely. Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. But there's a movie that came out, I believe it's a 1970s movie, and I seen it on the TV many, many years ago, but I've never seen it. It seems to have disappeared. It's a film called Doc, and it features Stacy Keach as Doc Holliday and some actor, I don't know who the actor is who plays Wyatt Earp in it. And that is it's like a real, it's a violent Western. It's made about 1970. Faye Dunaway's in it as well. But I've only ever seen that film once, but it seems to have disappeared off the radar, that film. But if you get the chance to see it, it is a really authentic Western. It's very violent. And the characters, even Doc Holliday, you know, and not necessarily and Wyatt Earp, they're not the most wholesome human beings. It's a film called Doc. I mean, I think that was the British title. They may go by another name in other countries. But if you get the chance to see that one, Stacy Keach, Faye Dunaway, well worth a look. Well worth a look. Anyway, so where are we now? Let me see. Stephen Tutty. Macron has just won a vote in no confidence by 9 votes. Lots of violent protests going on. I think the French have realised there isn't the money to pay for their earlier time. No, okay, let's just. I know that I'm falling behind in the chat here. I'm falling well behind. Sorry about this. If I've missed anyone. Sorry if I've missed anybody here. Okay. But the question that AJ mentioned before, let's briefly talk about it, okay? Yeah, big question, okay? People. About the, yeah. Okay, there you go. So there you go. So this let's talk briefly about this. This was suggested by AJ in the chat, and it's worth a mention. Other French people write to complain about it. Well, I should put protest, shouldn't I, rather than complain? Not just complain, to protest. That's badly phrased, that. But you know, okay, but you know what I mean. Anyone? I mean, are they right now? The French are protesting vociferously and quite violently about their pension. All of a sudden, Macron has introduced a bill, surprisingly, without a bloody word to anyone, it seems. He's introduced a bill where the French people's pension age is being raised from 62 to 64. Now, a lot of us are quite alarmed about this, okay? Because our pension age seems to get raised every other bloody week. I mean, it used to be 65 and then it went to 66. Now I'll be 67 before I get an old age pension. And that's quite old, isn't it? So are the French people right to complain? I admire the French people. I mean, believe it or not, France is a country that I don't really know that well. I know it's a very close by country, especially where I live in the south. But it's not a country. I mean, I've been to France. I've been up the Eiffel Tower, and but it's not a country that I've spent a great deal of time with. So I don't claim to know the French really well. But one thing I do know about the French is that when they don't like something, they feel like they've been cheated. They don't just sit at home and bloody sulk about it. They get out in the streets and protest. Now, in the year 2000, I believe it was, or it could have been 2001. It was around at that time. The British fuel went up. Our fuel prices just went up, and we started protesting. We started protesting over the rise in fuel around about the year 2000, and you couldn't get any fuel at the petrol stations or anything like that. I mean, it was very, very difficult. But the reason that we protested, and I don't think anyone in Britain really mentioned this, is only because we'd seen France do it first. They did it first. And that's why we thought, well, they're doing it, then we're going to do it. The thing about the French people, as far as I know, they will bloody get out in the streets if they don't like something. And full credit to them, I say, full credit. Yeah, so I'm just going to go through a little bit of this. Yeah, smashed. Put your knickers on and make me a cup of tea. The Sweeney TV show, not your good self. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's the kind of language that the Sweeney would use. Yeah, Ian Bowden, is Braverman still talking bollocks, or do you think she actually means business now at last with their new illegal immigrant plan? Let's have a little mention of that, but let's get down there. I'm sorry if I've missed it, because there's a lot of chat tonight. It's a lot of chat tonight. Okay. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Ian Bowden, yeah. Remind me of that question later, Ian, please. Ian Bowden, yes, but we have to realise that we are all living much longer nowadays, thanks to modern science. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I still think maybe it's because of my lifestyle, because drinking so much. I tend to think I'm 60 now. I'll probably be dead tomorrow. But you never know. I could live to 80 or 90. We all could. You never know, really. I mean, the thing is, you hear of people who are no older than you are, who are suddenly dropping dead. You are suddenly dropping. I heard of somebody drop dead who's the same age as me. The other week. But then again, you just don't know. Maybe I could live to 80, 85 or 90. You never know how long you're going to live. And also, it depends on your lifestyle. No, I don't smoke. I've never smoked. I've never taken any drugs or anything like that, except for, prescription statins, whatever. And as for drinking, I've drank too much over the years, but I'm laying off it now. I'm laying off it, and the liver does, repair itself. So you never know. I mean, now that personally, now that I'm laying off the booze, I'm thinking, well, I might not be dead tomorrow. I might just live until I'm 80. You never know. David Coleman. I use my real name on there. I'm not hiding anything. Good for you, mate. Not a bad name, that David Coleman. Okay, here we go. So let me see. Yeah, the real Dutch Farang, 8 to 9. 67, like Holland 67. Well, I mean, ours went up. I mean, it'll be. I'll be 61 in a couple of months' time. So it's about 6 years before I see my old age pension. And is it worth it? Is it worth it? Now, a friend of mine, he's just turned 60. He turned 65. A year or two ago, and he's got a state pension now. No, he's hard working. He's worked hard, for many, many years. His state pension basically comes up to about 180 quid a week. Okay, right. He's still working now simply because you can't bloody live on 180 quid a week in England. You just can't live. And the thing is, if he was incapable of working, then what would he do? Because you can't live on 180 quid a week. It's crap, basically. The state pension's a bit crap, really. I mean, but they pushed it back to 67. It's okay for people who are in sedentary jobs, sitting down at whatever. It's not so bad for them sitting down in an office. But people who work on a building site, I wouldn't like to bloody work on a building site when I was 67 years old. I wouldn't like to think I'd have to do that. Yeah, David Coleman, the French are 100% right. We need to do this in Canada. Okay, good for you. The real Dutch Farang, 4 days work week and 60 years pension age. Okay, I mean the thing is, if you've worked hard all your life, I mean these French people may well have been working for the last year. I mean it's not old age pensioners who are out on the streets protesting. It's younger people who are reading the road ahead. But these are people, who could be working 40, maybe 45 years and paying all the tax and everything. And then to be told that they're going to push the bloody pension back. It's just not right. Paul Hoskin, it will go to 70 in UK eventually. Beyond that, mate. Beyond that. Humongous. You think with automation and 4-day work week being successful, why do we need to work till 67 and 70? Oh, that's always been a controversy. I mean, there's people. Well, I like this. There's people years ago who thought, with computerized technology and automation and all the rest of it, we're all going to be out of work. People thought this 40 odd years ago. They thought, well, the 1980s, we always thought the 1980s was the science fiction age because a lot of science fiction movies were set in the 1980s. We always thought, with automation and technology and everything, it put a lot of people out of work. And yet it hasn't worked that way, has it? I mean, right now in Britain, we've got a labour shortage. I mean, there's all kinds of jobs. Driving jobs, various other jobs that, a machine simply can't do. So, it hasn't worked out like that. Anyway. Ginger Joe, no, folk are living longer. Not everyone, not everybody. David Coleman, the government in Canada wants us all to die by 65. Oh, that's a bit strong, isn't it? Let's see. Fred Mays, Top Gear did a comedy bit where they couldn't compete in auto race in France because the track person kept protesting one thing or another. I didn't see that, but yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds quite funny. That sounds quite funny. How about the Greeks when they ended up in this show? The Greeks when they joined the European Union. What was their attitude? Right. Better pensions, lower retirement age. Yeah. The Greeks had it totally different. Yeah, absolutely. And then they ended up in this shit, didn't they? Yeah, Anyway, no, sorry, apologies to Greek people who are out there. You make some lovely kebabs. Sean Harris, I was in St. Malo when there was a farmers' protest about something or other. They destroyed the street signs and plowed the roundabouts with their tractors. It was quite dangerous, actually. St. Malo, I'm not sure where St. Malo is. Is that France? Yeah, but the thing about French, though, you know, they set it during the fuel process, and we copied them years ago. We copied the French. We copied them. I mean, it's you know, we copied them. They will get out in the street and protest if they don't like something. Okay, Martin Birchall. What about us? We have to work up to 67, and the French send over Muslim dinghy divers into the UK. What is that all about? Well, we have to work up to 67. The French send over the money. Well, that's a massive subject, and everyone's talking about that subject right now. So, and I've, you know, we talked about it a little bit on this channel as well. So, you know, I don't think we really need to go there. Everyone's talking about that sort of stuff. You know, it will never be resolved as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Nicholas, over 100 people watching. Hit the like button. Thank you, Nicholas. That's very, very good. Yeah, hit the like, everybody. It really does help to push the video out there. Let's see, the real Dutch farang. UK more attractive for tourism after Brexit. Yeah, but that's probably to do with the pound being weak, isn't it, against other currencies? David Coleman, France has always been the real enemy of England. Are they really? I mean, you know, are they? It's funny enough. It's like I said before. It's not a country that I know really well. I haven't really. I've been to France, but I haven't really spent that much time in France, so I can't really claim to be a French expert. I have heard British people saying that they moved to France and bought a property and then found that the French don't like us very much. I don't know if that's true or not. I've met French people, and you know, some of them being all right, and some of them I haven't liked. Nicholas, I'm on the vape. I'm really trying to pack it in. Well, good for you. And anyway, I don't know about vaping, whether that's any good for you or not, but probably better than smoking. Neil, I told the doctor I had a bad reaction to the hemorrhoid cream you gave me. He said, "Where did you apply it?" I replied, "On the bus." Oh my, that's awful. That's awful. Let's see, Jamie296. I admire the French for their willingness to protest, but in this case, there simply is not enough money left in the system. Okay, well, they're protesting because it's going to be risen from 62 to 64. I mean, ours has been, you know, I'll be looking to get my pension by 67, my state pension. And now I'm not rich. Hopefully I'm not absolutely dependent on a state pension, because I still am able to work and do things, and I have my own little pension funds. Whatever. But even so, an extra £9,000 a year, you know, for the rest of your life, it would pay for your food bill anyway. So it's still worth having. But they pushed it back to 67. That just seems to me to be far too high in this country. It really, really does. Wanderer 299. The UK pension is appalling. French get much more anyway. I mean, on a French pension, could you live on a French pension? Because you couldn't live on one in England. I mean, I can't really say how people. You know, hopefully people by the time they get to pension age, state pension age, will have saved up money or have other assets. Because as it stands at 180 quid a week, you couldn't live on 180 quid a week. You know, my friend who's got a state pension, he's putting his pension away, good for him, but he still works. He's got to work, you know, because you just couldn't live off that. There we go. David Coleman, I don't smoke, no drugs. I try to eat right, not much drinking. I'm 65 and doing good. I'm with you there, mate. I'm with you. I'll drink to that. Let's see. The real Dutch farang, 180 a week is like a teen spoiled brat allowance. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Yours travels. My retirement age will be 70. I will be retired in Thailand in 7 years at the age of 50. Good for you, mate. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Wish I was. Yeah, good for you. Well done, mate. Anyway, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I've already had I've probably had about 10 years of retirement already with the amount of time that I've been traveling over the years. I decided, many years ago that I wasn't going to be working. I'm not going to wait until I'm an old man to start traveling and living my life. So I started doing it years ago. And in terms of the time, I probably had about 10 years retirement already. I mean, if I drop dead tomorrow, I mean, I've done a lot of things. I've seen a lot of places, including that one behind me there. Let's see. 83, UK full of illegals. Okay. Yours travels is buffering now. Oh, I hope not. It seemed to be doing all right before. Chaz Brown buffering. Oh, God almighty, no, don't want any of that. Don't want any of that. There's still 126 people in the chat. Let's see. Oh no. Nicholas, can someone put 50 pence in the meter? Buffering. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God almighty. Well, there's still 126 people in the chat. Let's see. We're back on. Switch your router on and off. I've already done that. I've done that earlier. Let's see. Well, 133 people I can see in the chat. It looks like a YouTube wide buffering. Other channels also. Oh, no, that's not good. That's not good. Let's see. Roy Gold. The US military guys get great pensions. Somebody retired to 20 years service can get $5,000 a month. That's a lot. That sounds bloody good. When can I join? David Coleman, where's my flying car? Yeah, well, 21st century, bit of a disappointment. I thought we'd have our own personal spaceships by now. But then again, some people say that I'm on another planet anyway. Capo. Sean Harris, I worry a little bit about cashless society. The government will then be able to withhold your money. You don't comply with what they want. Maybe it'll mean less crime, because criminals, they probably pay each other in, suitcases full of dodgy money, don't they? Capo said, as their internet. Joe Hart, nice to have you. Don't book a hotel in the UK right now. Well, I'm not going anywhere. David Coleman, buy gold. Okay. Yours Travels. You'd four-star hotel near me has been booked out for 2 years by the government for immigrants. Well, that's why they're coming here, isn't it? Because we're a soft touch country, they're going to get a nice hotel, they're going to have allowances, they're going to be let loose on the streets, to run amok. They're going to cause bloody murder and if we say anything about them, we're going to be accused of being racist. We need to stop being a soft touch country. What was that question about Suella Braverman earlier? Buster Cherry, nice to hear from you. Let's see. You monks, just told myself a Johnny Cabot. Automation is finally here. Was that out of Total Recall? Was that Total Recall that you're talking about there? Yeah, I mean, driverless cars. Do you think driverless cars will ever really take? Maybe that could be a separate question. I mean, driverless cars. I can't see it. I can't really see that. I mean, the bloody road. Before they get driverless cars, they need to get the roads in order. All the bloody potholes in British roads, and there's always road works going on here and there. Let's see. Nicholas, Eddie, get a Libra SIM, because when you have problems like this, you can use the unlimited data for 25 quid on Vodafone. Whatever. Where I live, I have Vodafone on my smartphone. Where I live, the reception is crap anyway. It's dreadful. I mean, this is usually pretty good, but I don't know what it's like right now. Anyway, I mean, I've been having problems. Sometimes it may be as good as gold by tomorrow. You never know. Buster Cherry, 62 is very young anyway, but as others have said, fair play to them for having the backbone to protest properly. Never happens here in the UK, okay? Bentman, the government just want you to work all your life, pay taxes, and then retire and drop dead so they don't have to give you any pension. It's a system designed to fail everyone. Yeah, sounds about right. Paul Hoskin, It begins when you start coughing and ends when you are in the coffin. Okay, nicely put. Ian Bowden, the French are very militant. I personally admire that. I wish us Brits were more like the French. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Like I said, I don't really know that much about the French. Oh, except that I'd love to I'd love to park that Bridget Bardo when she was young, definitely. Pages one. Alcohol is for rock stars. I'm not a rock star, so I decided not to drink. Okay. Brent L, young people here in Australia are drinking less alcohol due to the ever increasing prices. That's a good enough reason. And turn to other substances which are cheaper. Is that right? Really? Hey, busted cherry. It's fine, Eddie, not buffering now. Okay, that's all right. And there's 143 people in the chat. Press the like button, 143 people, because it helps to put the channel out there, you know. And like you say, well, when we get a phone in, it'll be good. But I've got nobody's mentioned anything about a phone in yet. I mean, what system am I going to use? What will be a good system? I mean, because the idea of having Facebook friends, you know, coming on the show, I don't think that's going to work somehow. Yeah, smashed. What movie location would you love to visit at? What's the good, the bad, and the ugly again? Then I talk about the unearthing of Sad Hill Cemetery, the restoration of the climatic end scene of the film. Well, those spaghetti westerns, some people dispute it. I think a lot of them were filmed in Gran Canaria, but some others say that they were filmed in another part of Spain. They were made by Italians. They were filmed in Spain. And there was also a German, Germans involved in the production country. So what movie location would you love to visit there? What movie location? Well, I'd say one of the most satisfying things is that I can watch James Bond movies, and I like the James Bond movies. There's so many of them now I can watch, and I think, you know, I've been there. I've been there. Anything from Venice to Istanbul to Cuba and Thailand, Vietnam. I can see a lot of those. What movie location would you love to visit? Oh, off the top of my head, I can't think. Been to a lot of them. Been to a lot of the ones I want to go to. Yours travels. I'll drink to that. Good for you. Good for you. Nicholas, I'm paying £3 for £5 or 3 milligrams, still cheaper than cigarette. What was it? I've never smoked, but somebody on Facebook mentioned that a packet of cigarettes in the UK has gone up to a ridiculous amount now. It's gone up to, what is a packet of 20 cigarettes in the UK now? And when you think, I mean, if you smoke 20 cigarettes a day, that's really, 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 really going to knock up your budget. In Thailand, in time till I die, not a big fan of the French, but hats off to them for fighting for their rights. UK retirement age going up to 70. British shook their swords and stick their fingers up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. Good for the French. David Coleman, they added 6.5 more tax on alcohol in Canada. It's madness. I think in the budget, I think they reduced it in England. They picked a nice time without giving up drinking. Okay, let's see. Let's see. David Coleman, if you smoke and drink in Canada, they tax you to death. Yours travels. Go to newest comments. I think I'm only about 5 minutes behind, funnily enough. Let me see. Capo 17, they're banning disposable e-cigs in Scotland sometime this year. Oh, I don't know. Ian Brown, let's be honest, I think many of us would love your lifestyle, Ed. You lead a fab life, semi-retired, and travel the world by 60. You may also live another 25 years. Good on you, mate. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've always been a film fan. Since I was a kid, and I looked at these exotic locations. I've been to a lot of them. Rio de Janeiro, a lot of the stuff that you see in the James Bond movies. I've been there and done that. So that is actually quite. That is actually quite quite satisfying. Yours travels. Ricky Drama gets $8,000 a month pension. He's forever telling them, good for him, mate. Good for him. Good for him. He's a character, and he's a funny character. I really love the stream. I don't think it's there anymore, but he done a stream where, God, you got to be on his side, man. He really stood up for the guys. He done a wonderful stream where he was going to, I think it was Frankfurt. I think it was someone in Germany. I think it was Frankfurt. And he took his camera into a sort of, girly bar sort of place. And they tried to rip him off. He bought one drink for €5. And the next minute, they tried to bill him for €85 for the, talking to the girls or buying the lady drinks, to help them. So, they are rip off bloody places. You got to be careful in places like that. And he stood up to me. He said, I'm not paying €85. I pay €5. I'll pay €5. And anyway, they tried to grab his camera, and he ended up, he left without paying anything. He really told him to sling the hook. So good for him. Anyway, Ricky's cool. Ricky's cool. He's a good laugh. Ian Bowden, Braverman still talking bollocks. Or do you think she actually means business now at last with new illegal immigrant plans? Okay, well, let's go with this one. Let's go with this one. Suella Braverman, right now, she's one of the candidates. She's the Home Secretary or the Foreign Secretary. Is she the Foreign Secretary or the Home Secretary? One of those. And she's quite outspoken. I mean, with regards to the immigrants, I think it's shoveling shit against the tide personally, because I really believe that the biggest problem in the world is the ballooning population. It's people having kids in third world countries, in countries where in backward countries where they're having kids and they can't afford to feed those kids. The countries can't afford to give those children a job or a decent lifestyle. So the next minute, when they get to a certain age, they're heading over here in dinghies. And the world's population is doubled in like the last 40, 50 years. It was about 4 billion, wasn't it? That was probably less than that about 50 years ago, and now it's about 8 billion or whatever it is. People are having children when they shouldn't be having children because they can't afford to look after the children. And then when they get to 20 years of age, they're coming across the bloody channel expecting us to look after them. And this is the problem, really. All the millions that we give in foreign aid, it would be better spent teaching these countries about contraception. It would be better spent doing that. But anyway, with regards with Suella Braverman, talking bollocks. I mean, she's putting her foot down. Basically, what she's saying is this time, more than any other time, I know that all the people in the past said they were going to do it, and they didn't do it. But me and Ricky Wishy-Washy, we're really going to do. We're going to do the thing that all the previous ones didn't do. And I still say, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe all of this. If she can stop the immigration, stop the dinghies and all this, and get the the immigrants on that bloody plane to Rwanda and all of this kind of stuff, I'll believe it when I see it. That's when I'll believe it, not before. Okay. Humongous. There was a bloke in Manchester who spray painted potholes with penises. The paper's nickname. Wow, God, that's German. That is. But Paul Oskin, stop giving the magazines any money. Give them food and shelter only. Well, that's money, isn't it? Food and shelter is bloody money, mate. It doesn't come for free, does it? Let's see. Let's see. Where are we now? Where are we? Okay. David Coleman, Eddie has a great life. Next year, mine starts. I did not go away this year, so I'm saying, well, it's in parts. I have a good life in parts. It's not totally great, but it isn't bad. There's people worse off than me. But anyway, good luck to you, David. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we've done that. We talked about the French army, so we'll skip that one anyway. Let's get to the comments. The real Dutch Farang. What about using StreamYard? This is StreamYard that I'm using. It's all right. It's really, it's got its problems. Other stuff's got problems as well. Wondershare Filmora, the editing system, that's got problems as well. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, let's see. Bruce Leo, just have line phone in from Ploy in Bangkok. Okay. Capo 17, at the moment, only 400 being authorised by the coast of Rwanda. And out of those 400, is one of them actually being sent there? I mean, it was embarrassing. It was a farce last year, wasn't it? Let's send all these people. And not one of them took off. You know, it cost a bloody fortune, millions. This project that they had of sending the illegals to Rwanda. Not one of them, because as long as they've got that bloody European Court of Human Rights, this document that Britain signed, I believe it was 1951, you know, Europe is still going to pull that out of the hat and say, you know, you can't do it. Bottle baby. French working class have been protesting against any social change forever, okay? David Coleman, kick them all out. Let's just be honest. Don't let them in the first place. Let's see. Ian Bowden, I had no kids on purpose. I could never afford to bring them up, so I would have liked. Luckily for me, I use strong 8-inch condom. That's the best advice of the night there. Okay. Where are we now? Okay, we're coming up to this now. Okay, David Coleman, I'm going to get that right. David Coleman, hey, what about the left wing wanting to ban the movie Zulu, saying it is racist? Okay, come to that in a minute. David Heisenberg, as to pension in the UK for men is 67. What if the frogs had a complaint? I have another 9 a few years ago. Okay, fair enough. So let's see. We'll come to that, but we'll come to that bit in a moment, right? David Coleman's question. Where are we now? But in the meantime, it's the one, the only, the legendary Squeaky Door time. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that Gordon's gin really, really is good. Okay. Still 140 people in the chat. Jamie 296. I didn't believe, but Bradman has kept their mouth shut and let the court cases. Yeah, okay. I didn't believe, but Bravman has kept him out shut and let the court cases and appeals go through and won them all. If they did get this off the ground, the boats will stop overnight. Okay, okay. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it. Andrew McIver, when Eddie starts ranting on immigrants, I lose all respect for them. Completely grim. I like my money back for the drink I bought you. Did you buy me well, whatever? I mean, we all have our opinions. You know, I'm not here to be namby pamby and agree with everything. I'm warts and all. I say what I mean, and there are others who are far more vocal for me. It's if anyone was to ever ask me the question, would you allow immigrants to come into Great Britain and walk all over us and take the piss out of us? I don't care what. My answer to that would always be no. I do not want people from backward countries coming into England, our country, and taking advantage of us and taking the piss out of us. I say simple as that. But apart from that, Andrew, have a nice day. Okay, let's see. Yeah, yours travels. Andrew, what would you do with hundreds of thousands coming over? What happened hundreds of thousands? What happened hundreds of thousands? Over the period of years, we've had hundreds of thousands. Let's see. David Cohn, we all rant on about illegal immigrants. We have the right. I was born in Canada. I did not get off a damn boat. Okay, good for you, mate. Anyway. Okay, so anyway, there you go. Let's see. Okay, so David Coleman mentioned something about a wonderful movie, which is now, because of this woke bollocks, has become controversial, and some people are saying that is Tulip, so much. You're not going to give him his money back. I think he's bluffing. I don't actually remember meeting him and getting that drink from him, to be honest with you. Let's see. Okay. So anyway, where are we now? Okay. So how can I phrase this question? Let's talk about this question. David Coleman mentioned a movie, one of the most wonderful movies of all time. And oh my God. I mean, all of these wonderful movies are now deemed not politically correct. The woke society, was saying they should be banned for this reason or that one. It's all bloody infuriating. You may as well just erase all our past. Everything we watched on TV or movies, or even some of the songs we listened to on the radio, should all be banned. You may as well just wipe our memory, and we haven't got a past anymore. It's all a load of bollocks anyway. So how can I phrase this question? Should these movies be banned because of a few okay, what's as good a way of phrasing it as anyway? And how many gins have I had? Okay, there we go. Anyway, and this is the question: should these movies be banned because of a few wokies? Okay, wokies. Anyway, and the one that okay, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Capo says Zulu film recorded a part of history. Both sides respected each other for their bravery. Okay. Ben Fan, agree. If this new generation of woke, they can't accept that history is history, no matter if it was good or bad. I mean, there's been bastards in history. There's been celebrated people in history who are actually bastards. You can't erase history. Let's see. Sean the Prawn. Eddie, I'm thinking of going to Greece. Do you have any recommendations for the Greek islands, Crete or Rhodes? Wonderful stuff. Anyway, so the movie that David Coleman mentioned is quite simply one of the greatest, absolutely greatest movies of all time. And it is this one. It's this one. Zulu. What a wonderful, wonderful movie. I mean, that movie was directed by a guy called Cy Enfield, who I don't really know what else he did, really. Because in those days, it was people like David Lean, you know, Bridge on the River Kwai, Lawrence of Arabia, those kind of, it was really celebrated for the historical epics. But that movie, Zulu, was just, it was so dynamic. It was, I've seen it. Do you know, it has an effect on some people, that movie. There was I remember a newspaper article some years ago, many years ago, where this guy had actually lost, you know, split up with girlfriends and everything because he just couldn't stop watching the movie Zulu. He wanted to watch the movie again and again, and he watched the movie hundreds of times. And someone else wrote into the newspaper and said, "What, 450 times? That's nothing. I've seen it 700 times." It is simply what it is. The movie that made a star out of Michael Caine. It also featured that wonderful actor Stanley Baxter. It's not just an historical epic based on these British standing their ground against the Zulus at Rorke's Drift. It's an absolutely brilliant movie. It is a movie that still holds up well even today. And even though I haven't seen it in a few years, I've seen it many times before. I could quite happily watch that film again. And the tension of you know, it's just when these soldiers, you know, defending this little barracks in the middle of you know, the Africa, Rorke's Drift, and when they hear the marching of the Zulus, it has a kind of tension. It has a kind of tension that few films ever manages to get. You really, it's scary. You really are on the side of these soldiers, man. You know, they're facing the terrible odds. Zulu is quite simply one of the greatest movies of all time. Absolutely wonderful. And anyway, so let's say, so the question is, Zulu, should these movies be banned with a few wokies? Now, with regards to Zulu, some people are trying to say it should be banned because it's encouraging white extremism. It's been encouraging white people who are extreme, you know, to think of, you know, terrorism, and it's encouraging that sort of stuff. It's a bit of a garbled argument, but I mean, allow people to have their opinion on movies. Allow everyone's freedom of speech, everyone's right to have their opinion. But when you start, you mess with one of the great classics of all time, and I would actually say that Zulu would be on the list of one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Well, if you asked my top 10 favorite movies of all time, a lot of them will be 60s and 70s movies. Zulu would always be on the list. You should never ban that movie because it's brilliant. It's a work of art. So anyway, what do we think of that? What do we think of that? Let's see. Yeah, David Marchant. Zulu needs to be immortalized in cinema history. It is. Joe Hart, wokies are now a serious threat to democracy and free speech. Yeah, they are a threat to free speech. I agree. They are a threat to free speech. You mongers need to send Lisa Dale to Dover and Marcus will do a U-turn before they know that's the best idea I've heard all night. Cesar Freddy, San Francisco, payments of $5 million to every eligible black at the elimination of personal debt and tax being guaranteed an annual. Oh, I don't want to get into San Francisco politics or black politics. I don't want to do that. I'm not American. Let's see. David Coleman, the most Victoria Crosses ever awarded was at the Battle of Rorke's Drift. Yeah, absolutely. I can't praise that movie highly enough, or the history that goes behind it. It was an amazing movie, and it was a film that was worthy of that historic moment in time as well. Let me see. Brilliant. Tom Jones' song Delilah banned from Wales National Stadium for being offensive. Well, Tom Jones' song Delilah was about, it was about jealousy, wasn't it? It was a wonderful song, great stuff, marvelous. It was about basically, taking a knife. He acted in jealousy, and Yeah, you know, when a knifed his missus for cheating on him. It's not the only song. How about Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix? I mean, that was Hey Joe was another, you know, which had jealousy as the theme. I mean, where the hell do you where does it stop with all of this? I mean, where the hell does it stop? You know, Hey Joe. No one's mentioned Hey Joe, but I mean that's in a similar vein as Delilah in a way, and it's just never ever end. And I think there's some tossers who got nothing, wokey tossers who were sitting in a bloody room, and they probably have the attitude is, I have to be seen to be doing so. Somebody's given these people a position of wokey tosser, and this wokey tosser is sitting in a room. And, you know, his boss comes along and says, okay, well, what have you come up with today? And he's thinking, oh, I've got to come up with something. I've got to come up with, I know, Delilah, yeah, we will say Delilah should be banned. We'll say Zulu should be banned. You know, wokey tossers. David Heisenberg, looking like Russell. Braveheart, Mel Gibson is a class ace film. Probably is, but why did he have to wear a Tina Turner wig? Nicholas, I spent some time with veterans in Scotland, so charities just use some of these veterans for their funding. It's honestly disgusting. Well, you know, veterans should be given the greatest of respect. Carefree 42. If they ban Zulu, we riot. If they ban Zulu, I'd say we should ban Downton Abbey. I've never watched Downton Abbey, but I'd just do it out of spite. Burn Fair K. So who are these wokies? Let's get rid of them. Tossers, that's who they are. Joe Hart, music by Zulu music by John Barrett. He was a great composer, great composer. Hypocritical Project, Papillon should be in your top 10. I've seen that movie, but I can't remember much. I'm not a fan of prison dramas, funnily enough. Mr. G-Man, I think it's a great film and a dramatization of something real. No, don't ban it. How crazy. Yoz Travels, I'm too young for these movies. I was born, I think I was about 2 years old when Zulu came out, but I've seen it many years later. It's still worth watching. You get the chance. Wonderful stuff. Yeah, Flores is there. Good evening. That was the No Bay journey going so far. It's going well. Thanks for asking. Michael Wilkins, send Lineker to Rwanda. Okay, now let's what is it? Let's see. Ed Ventures around the world, banning Tom Jones. Then are we banning Snoop Doggy Dogg? Well, last I heard, Snoop Doggy Dogg was doing a duet with Chaz and Dave, wasn't he? You know, knees up, mother, yeah, knees up, mother effer. Yeah, okay. You might, those of you who know Chaz and Dave might get that one. Ginger Jones, Zulu is an anti-war film. Michael Caine's character feels and expresses shame after the last battle. It's a wonderful movie, and I made the start of. Well, let's see. Yeah, Ian Bowden. Eddie, I love your live streams always, but I see how skillful you are in live editing certain comments as you go. Live streams must be very hard work. As not to upset YouTube. I'm doing all right. My live streams have all, you know, my other channel, my main channel is all the videos are being monetized. I haven't had the video demonetized in a very long time. Ginger Joe and Richard Burton narrating at the end. He was another wonderful actor. Carefree, Zulu Dawn, great film. No, I think that was a little bit disappointing. I think that was a sequel. I think that was a sequel to Zulu. Okay, so anyway, how about it's not just Zulu, but how about this movie? I mean, one of the funniest movies of all time. Absolutely hilarious movie. Should that movie be banned? Okay, we all know the reason if it's going to be banned, that the reason that people will say that it should be banned. But come on, what one of the funniest movies I seen about 50 years ago. I'm still laughing now about it. Mel Brooks, that genius Mel Brooks. Well, he was in the 70s. He said that Let's Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks said that if that movie was made today, and bearing in mind, I think I'm right in saying that during the 90s, that was a comedy movie. It's not a western; it's a comedy western. I think as far as westerns, I think that was the most successful western box office of all time because it was a huge. Mel Brooks was brilliant, but he struggled to get recognition. And then when he made that movie, all of a sudden it became huge, so big. Yours travels. Yours travels. Exactly. I love rap and R&B. So 80% of their songs would be banned going on wokey rules. Yeah, exactly. All those rap songs. I mean, yeah, Roy Cole, Beatles Day in the Life was banned for just saying, I'd love to turn you on. There's another one, I think I'm the Walrus. So I think they run into trouble because he sang, Naughty Girl, Get Your Knickers Down or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, Andrew McIver, you're becoming awfully bloody boring, Andrew. Let's see. Ian Bowden, Tulip. We need professional legal immigrants, not dodgy passport illegals. Yours travels. Andrew, send me your bank details and they'll send you a 80 pounds. I don't even remember. I don't even think I met him. I don't even remember meeting him. This is Ben Fernk, Blazing Saddles. People will be outraged and enraged, but funny movie. Oh, Jesus Christ. And funny enough, when it came out, it wasn't the racial connotations. It wasn't the racial connotations that were the racial connotations that were controversial. It was the baked beans scene. That was the one that really upset a lot of people. I remember I watched that in the cinema and people just roaring with laughter. But there was also some guy there who was saying, that's bloody disgusting, that is. Yeah, it was the baked beans scene that caused controversy. Okay. Smashed. Isn't Banner movie the same as Ben and Boots? These wokies have no idea of history. Absolutely. Damn with the wokies. Joe Hart. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Absolutely brilliant. So Blazing Saddles. If Mel Brooks admits that movie would be, he couldn't make that movie today, which is such a pity because it's such a funny film. But anyway, is a movie which hasn't been suggested to be banned. I mean, no one's mentioned this one, but I think that this movie would not allow to be shown today. It's one of those swinging 60s movies, which it was shown on the TV in the 1970s an awful lot, an awful lot. It was a film called this. It was called The Knack. And it was Michael Crawford and what's the other guy's name? Rita Tushingham was in it. Some have it, some don't. The Knack. It was a swinging 60s movie. The Knack. I mean, they were the actors. I can't remember the name of the actor in the middle of it. That was Michael Crawford and Rita Tushingham. And this was one of those films that it was made in the swinging 60s. It was made by Richard Lester, who also made the Beatles movies, A Hard Day's Night and all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you why this film seems to have disappeared off the radar. It's got a very, very, what would be a controversial scene in it. Basically what it's about the chappie in the middle has got the knack of pulling birds, whereas Michael Crawford is a bit wet behind the ears. But he's sort of won over by Rita Tushingham. It was another popular 60s actress. But the reason that I think that this movie would not be allowed today is that there is an elongated scene in it where Michael Caine is trying to woo Rita Tushingham and she runs away from him and publicly she's shouting the R word, R-A-P-E. And this scene goes on and on and on. And she's various scenes throughout London, she's shouting the R word to the top of her voice. And they thought, this is a comedy sketch and whatever. But I mean, obviously the R word, we're not going to say that now. We're not going to say that now. That wouldn't be regarded as a joke anymore. They were doing it in a very, very jokey way. And that's why I think that film was never being shown in recent times, because they couldn't really show that way. I mean, but anyway, that's the Knack. That was one of those films that was always on the TV. in the 1970s. Okay. Ian Bowden, Ed, have you ever laughed your head off to the older Tom and Jerry cartoons of the 30s? I have. You on PC for Wokey. I haven't. No, I didn't laugh at Tom and Jerry. I used to like Roadrunner and Coyote. Beep beep. I Roadrunner and Coyote. I like that one. That was bloody good. That was. So should these movies be banned because of a few wokies? I mean, banning songs like Delilah and only a matter of time before they ban Hey Joe and these movies, Zulu, Blazing Saddles, all these wonderful movies. It's absolute load. Oh, of course, and we never mentioned Gone with the Wind, did we? We didn't mention Gone with the Wind, which is in terms of people going to the box office to actually see this movie. Gone with the Wind is probably the most successful movie of all time. Other films later on made more money, but when you consider inflation, Gone with the Wind, a 3.5 hour epic set during the American Civil War, absolutely wonderful movie. I mean, the actual the black maid, she won an Oscar. She was the first black woman to win an Oscar, and yet now it's controversial because they say it denigrates, black people and all that. Gone with the Wind's a wonderful movie. I mean, you should not be allowed to tamper with the old classics. You simply shouldn't, really. I mean, not that this wokeism was ending new, and I did read something about Bruce Lee once, where one of the things that inspired Bruce Lee to make movies celebrating, Asian or Oriental people, was that he was upset when he seen old movies like Charlie Chan, where Chinese people were seen to be sort of comical, and it's kind of upset Bruce Lee, and that's one of the reasons why he ended up making movies. Making movies where Bruce Lee had all this wonderful dialogue in his movies, like "Hi." Okay, that's my Bruce Lee impersonation. I don't want to wake the neighbors up. Okay, anyway, here we go. Okay, we've done that. So anyway, don't mess with the classics. That's the message. Don't mess with the classics. Shove your wokeism up your bloody Lisa Dale, for all I care. But don't mess with the classics. Hard Tulip, Ian Bowden. That's it. Okay, what are you going on about? Okay. Let's see. Seaside Freddy, statues of Christopher Columbus are being defaced and torn down in the US. Italian Americans are not happy. Why is that? Are they saying that it was Italy who discovered America and not Spain? I heard so you do get some bloody garbage on some of these sites like MSN. I mean, the top 10 most overrated people of all time, and one of them was Christopher Columbus, overrated. How can you bloody describe an historical figure as overrated? You get some shite going on nowadays, don't you? Okay. Let's see. Who's there? Yours Travels. How about the Django and Hateful? I quite like the Django and Hateful Eight. I don't think I've got around to seeing that one. I've heard mixed. I'm not really a big fan of Tarantino. I think I like his early stuff, but a lot of his stuff is very, very slow and very, very, very slow. So anyway, anyway, we've waffled on a bit. We've been going for about 1.5 hours now. I think we're just going to finish this. I think we're just going to finish this off with a little bit of a film review, something that I'd really like to recommend. I'm really pleased that the internet's come back anyway. So like I say, my plan is it will happen eventually. It will happen. I mean, Facebook is not the place to be going to look for guests coming on. But I didn't. I mean, my post that I put on Facebook says it went down like the band on a Titanic. Says it sank without trace. But I will get some kind of phone system. Kind of research it, get a little phone system so we can have some phone-ins on this show anyway. The rich, someone's saying, let's see, the real Dutch Farang finished. We just got started. I've been on for 1.5 hours, mate, and I'm going to be on tomorrow night as well. Okay, so I'm just going to end with this with a movie recommendation. Okay, and this is something. I mean, since I come back here, I've started watching Netflix again. Netflix has the more modern movies, but Amazon, I didn't really bother much with Amazon. They tend to have the more older, more obscure movies. They have some good TV shows, but they have some more obscure. But I come across this one. It's a 2011 movie. And I was looking for something to watch, and I thought, well, that looks interesting. I'd never even heard of this movie. I'd never even heard the actor Dominic Cooper before. I'd never heard of him. But this movie just kind of really took me aback. Really, really. It's called The Devil's Double. And what it is, Dominic Cooper plays two parts. He plays the son of Saddam Hussein in the late 80s when they invaded Kuwait, or the early 90s when they invaded Kuwait. He's the totally selfish, spoiled, psychopathic son of Saddam Hussein. And Dominic Cooper plays this part. And what he does is that he enlists a school friend to be his double. In other words, because he fears assassination attempts. So he dresses this guy up like himself. Now, Dominic, let's see, Dominic Cooper, he actually looks a bit like Freddie Mercury with his teeth, these sort of big teeth in it. But he plays a wonderful star. In fact, I've seen actors winning Oscars who were not as good as this guy. He plays both guys in the movie, both the son of Saddam Hussein and also the guy who he enlists to be his double against his will. And it is a fantastic movie. It's a very, very adult movie. It's basically, it begins in the build-up to the first invasion of Kuwait. And this guy, he drives Ferraris, Porsches. The scenes in which he sort of sexually assaults women and his attitude to women is absolutely disgusting. And what you've got to ask yourself is this realistic? Is this believable? What would a guy like this really behave in such a heinous way if he could get away with it? And the answer is simply, of course he would, because there are bastards in this world. And some people, you give them whatever they want, or give them the opportunity to behave like bastards. That's exactly what he does. Now, this movie, it's not a big budget movie. It's set in Baghdad. I think it was actually filmed in Malta. But it is a wonderful, wonderful movie. I found it totally enthralling. But this actor, Dominic Cooper, he plays both parts, remember, and he is superb. He is absolutely superb. It is well worth seeing this movie. It's called The Devil's Double. It's very, very adult. It's very totally over the top, but it's well worth seeing. And that guy, Dominic Cooper, I think he should have won an Oscar personally. Absolutely wonderful. So anyway, that's my movie recommendation. Go check that one out on Amazon. It's called The Devil's Double. Well worth a look. Okay. So anyway, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So Don, I think it's a true story. I've seen a documentary about it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you think about all the bastards who run countries, from Pol Pot to that one in Syria, Assad, and all the other people, if you give them the opportunity to behave in an evil way, if they can get away with it, and that's exactly what they'll do. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to finish now. We've been on for an hour and 33 minutes. Sorry about the internet. Well, the internet was pretty awful to begin with. But we've been on for 1.5 hours anyway, so not a bad little start to a Monday night. A lively little chat. Hopefully before long I'll get some phone calls coming in, and we can have a bit of fun with that. I don't care if there's a few cranks or a few lunatics. We know how to handle them. We know how to handle them. And anyway, so Ian Bound, great stuff, Ed. Cheers. See you next Monday night. If only YouTube allowed 100% free speech. Yeah, if only, mate. Nice of you to come along. I'll be back tomorrow night anyway. I'll be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Hopefully the internet's not going to let me down. So in the meantime, have a great Tuesday. Have a great rest of Monday or whatever you're doing. And I'll see you tomorrow anyway. Thanks for coming along, guys. Cheers.